Hi guys, welcome back to the desk corner and welcome to a new video. I thought I would pop on and do an intro for once since I don't do those too often anymore. So I think I'm just going to cut straight to the chase with this one. It was recently my birthday, and so I decided to get myself a little birthday present. I think most of you already know where this is going. I mean, obviously you do based on the title alone. So let me just show you guys the damage. I'm holding it from a weird angle because the light is actually like reflecting from outside, so I'm gonna have to just switch to the desk view. As you can see, I have purchased myself another set of Caran pencils. That's right, you guys. Let's go ahead and flip to the desk view and I'll show you guys what these are. I'm very excited. So right now you just have a nice view of my filming setup. So I want to get rid of this reflection so we can actually just look at the box. So this looks a lot better without the plastic wrap. You guys can actually see the box here. So these are the Museum Aquarelles. I went with the 40 set because I have the Faber-Castell Breck Duraires and I have 60 of them and it just feels so much for a watercolor pencil set, you guys. So I decided for these that I was just going to get the 40 set because honestly I don't need that many colors with watercolor pencils. So a little description here reads that they're soft watercolor pencils of extra fine quality. Obviously this is a Swiss company. Let me flip it around. I just want to open it so badly. Over here you get a small like color swatch chart, and these are 100% water soluble, immediately optimal transparency with no veiled effect, exceptional color fastness. Okay, that's the blue wool scale that they use, and they're brilliant, vibrant colors, high pigment density, unlimited color mixing, and wet or dry media technique. And over here it says that these are 3.8 millimeter lead with a matte finish, and of course, like the other pencils, these are cedar wood. So the difference is these ones are going to be in painted black casing. Oh my gosh, I can already see them. Are you guys ready for me to open these? Because they have this really nice new box smell that the Caran pencils always have. We get this little booklet, of course. I really do like to keep these little booklets. Looks like you can go up to 76 colors, so I'm guessing they're color matched. I think so, to the Luminance pencils, but I'm not entirely sure. And let's actually go ahead and take a look at these. Oh my gosh, here they are, you guys. They're really beautiful. Look how beautiful they are, all lined up in a row. Of course, we get this really high quality box, and there is our second row underneath. And so this one you would just keep in, I guess, but these have the tabs on them to just lift them out easily. So we have like our bright colors here. These are our brighter colors and more of our primaries too. And then here we've got the neutrals. So we've got two different trays. And I am so anxious right now to just swatch these, you guys, because they are absolutely gorgeous. You can see they're color dipped. I guess first we should probably look at an individual pencil. So I'm gonna take out bright green, and they are hexagonal shaped as it said on the box. There are numbers over here, okay, and then there's a light fastness rating as well. Okay, you guys, so I'm sure you guys are anxious to see what the color range looks like here when we swatch them out. So let's go ahead and do a swatch chart of these. I've got my swatch chart ready to go here, and I actually have kind of this awkward thing where we've got these two strips on the side, so I think I'm going to use my paper cutter actually to trim this down after I'm done, because these could be used as like extra scraps of paper to practice swatches on or something. I don't like to get rid of any expensive paper, even if it's just a little bit. But we have 40 squares here, and I'm going to label them. You guys, I'm really bad at making swatch charts. It takes me forever to do so. What do you guys use? I've seen a couple artists that have stamps for swatches, and I think that'd be so useful and something I should probably look into buying, because it takes forever to line all of these squares evenly and everything like that and space it all out accordingly. I'm just starting off by labeling each row before I go in and swatch. I just thought it would be easier that way, but I'm sorry if you guys can't see all the names too clearly because I had to use a very small fine liner in order to fit all the names in those little boxes that I left, since a lot of the names are pretty long. I'm starting off here with lemon yellow, so of course we're going to start with our yellows and oranges. And you guys, I was actually kind of surprised when I was swatching these and labeling. I realized that some of the colors color matched to the luminance set. Other colors I didn't know about and haven't heard of beforehand, and I thought maybe I just didn't remember them being in the luminance set, but when I went back and checked my luminance swatch chart, I couldn't actually find the colors. For example, that third color is gold cadmium yellow, which isn't included in the luminance set. So surprisingly, these are not color matched really. A lot of them are just sort of different. Maybe they kind of match closely to a color in the luminance set, but the name is different. I'm not sure. Some of them are an exact match in the name, like this one right here, the anthracanoid, I never say that one right. Anthracanoid pink, of course, is part of the luminance set. So some of these names I recognized, and it made me feel a little bit crazy as I was swatching. I was thinking, oh, this one I recognize. Wait, this other one I don't though. And some of them are just very simple, like there's a color just called yellow, and then there's also one just called brown. So they kept it a little more basic in this set, I noticed. And so you guys can just see how vibrant and beautiful these colors are. I am using an Arches cold pressed paper. I decided to sacrifice a nice paper so my swatch chart could come out really nice. I know it's painful to do this because of how expensive these nice watercolor papers are. But you guys can really see I'm just doing like a light layer beforehand, and then when I go to swatch them out with the water or activate it with the water brush, the pigments just kind of come to life and become really bright and beautiful. Some of them seem to be more opaque than others, and you guys will see that in a little bit. There's a few colors toward the end that I really was surprised at how opaque they were. And at this point I realized it'd be smart to just go every other square to let them dry a little so they don't bleed into each other. But you know, with watercolor pencils it's a little bit easier to keep them from bleeding into each other since you're not using quite as much water as you are with actual watercolor paint. Now we are getting into our third row. These are our greens, which are actually split up. So a couple of the greens are actually going to show up at the bottom of the chart with the neutrals. And I decided to keep everything in order. I didn't really want to move things around. I just kept it in the order that it came in so that you guys can see that in like the default order. But we've got 4 greens here. And what I really like is that first green that actually is very pastel-like, and it's almost like a very light aqua color. And I really enjoyed that the set included a really pastel bright color like that. And then we also are getting a few neutrals toward the end, but I'll talk about those in a moment. So you could see some of the different greens here. Actually, the greens are pretty basic in this set. We did get emerald green and like a phthalo green. That bright green that we get in the 4th square, which you'll see me activate right about now, is just like a standard nice bright green. We get a couple like limey colors. And then that butternut color, that second to last color, is not included in the luminance set, but it reminds me of some of the set, or some of the colors in the luminance set. So some of these are different, but reminiscent of colors we get. I just like that they're a little bit different. It adds some intrigue to this set. There we're going to get a couple of our browns, which are fairly standard, like brown ochre, burnt ochre, terracotta, that sort of thing. We get russet, which is in the luminance set. That's the 4th swatch there. And then a couple more. There's one just called brown, which actually falls on the reddish side. I found it funny that it was just called brown. Oh, and we get Castle Earth. That's why I was showing you guys my pencil there, because Castle Earth I was curious about since I've had issues with it in the luminance set. So we're going to swatch it out here and I'll show you guys how that went in a moment. Oh, the suspense. So you could see that one is actually very opaque, honestly, and I didn't have any issues with it or the laydown of it, but of course sometimes those issues don't arise until later on when you hit a part of the pencil that might be scratchy, so I'll keep you guys updated on that situation. But my Castle Earth from the luminance set is just totally unusable, so I thought it would be interesting to mention that since I know some of you guys have that issue as well. So I mentioned earlier that our greens are split up, and these two greens fall into the neutral green category, I suppose, but I was so happy that the set included them because some of those brighter greens up top wouldn't be great for a lot of the more natural landscape type things that I might be interested in doing. Oh, I was so upset the white was just sitting in the middle there, and I should have switched it out and put it next to the black because that was just so annoying, or maybe even just put it next to the yellow at the top. But what's done is done now. There's another really opaque one, that's French gray. And then we also get a Payne's gray, thank goodness. Payne's gray is one of my favorite darker tones, so I'm so happy that the set included that. We get sepia 10%, and then we also get steel gray, which is basically just a cool gray, and then of course we finish off there with black. I know that that part dragged on. What am I doing? Oh, I think I'm showing you guys how the paper warped a little bit. I was wondering, what was I doing in that moment? I'm sorry if that swatch part dragged on a little bit, but I just like to be a little bit thorough when I'm talking about swatches and color swatches, so hopefully you guys found that part interesting even though it ran on the longer side. But here you go, this is the entire chart. You could see the whole color range here for the 40 set, and I liked it a lot. I wish that there were more purples, like maybe one more purple would have been great. I thought maybe, you know, in these sets I often notice, and not just in Caran d'Ache in general, there are often a lot of very similar like yellow-orange colors that aren't quite necessary, that I would almost like rather replace with another unique color, but that's just an issue I've noticed in a lot of sets. I don't know if you guys have that same thought as well. But now for the real test, let's go ahead and do a demonstration drawing or painting with these pencils. I was so excited to do this. I picked a reference photo that had a lot of colors in it, and then I kind of just like used my own colors and maybe overdid it in some areas just so that I could use a bunch of different colors and try them out. I was just way too excited about this. So I started out just kind of filling in the shadowed areas, and one thing I try to be careful about with watercolor pencils is to leave a lot of highlighted areas white, because honestly when you activate the pigment it's going to drag out into a lot of areas, so if you want highlights you gotta leave those pretty early on. And somewhere in the middle of this process I forgot about that entirely, and we end up with just a lot of color and not a lot of highlight. But besides that, I think that this went pretty well. I'll show you guys what happened here. I used orange and light cadmium red instead of just like a pink, so my first layer for the flamingo is very, very orange and red, but I thought that it looked kind of unique and cool, and I wanted to make this painting just kind of stand out a little bit. But I'll fix that more in my next layer. As I let that dry, I was working on the face and beak area. I decided to use my permanent blue mixed with black to give some more depth and interest in that beak area. And here's the difficult but also fun part, is the flamingo is actually kind of dipping its head down into the water looking at its own reflection, and then you could see the reflection and you could see kind of like this pool of water around the flamingo's head. This was so difficult for me to do. I'm not very good at portraying water or anything like that, or reflections, but I thought it would be a great opportunity to use some more colors, so I ended up using some more pinks. I even used this aubergine color that comes in the neutral palette of the set, and I used a lot of blues and greens to show the water. As you could see, I thought I was leaving plenty of highlight, but once I start to activate that paint or that pigment with the brush, you'll see that the highlight was apparently not enough because I ended up kind of losing a lot of it. So that was one issue I kept running into, and that was totally my fault and not the pencils. The pencils themselves, as you can see, are beautiful, vibrant. I think that the pigment drags a lot. I noticed that, and I think that even with the first layer you get a really nice look. Of course, I like to do a second layer. You could see I'm adding some more pink and stuff to neutralize the flamingo, make it look a little bit more realistic and to fill in some of those areas, but I did lose a lot of my highlights in the process of doing this. However, it did come out a lot more pink and flamingo-like, and gosh, can you just see how beautiful that second layer was? You really only need a couple layers, and these pencils are just vibrant and so beautiful. Oh, you could see me making such a mess with that water. Oh my gosh, I knew that would happen. I created mud. Oh dear. I mean, if I'm looking back on it though, I had so much fun creating that I don't really mind that it came out a little bit messy. There was a point when I decided I just needed to leave it alone because it was becoming a big muddy mess. But I thought that it looked a little odd, and I decided to expand the background to make sure that it covered more of the page. So I actually added some more color on top where the flamingo is bending down so that it kind of makes the flamingo stand out a little bit, and I left a nice highlight around it. And also I'm filling up more of the paper as well. But you could see I'm really using like phthalo green and that really light green as well, and a couple of the pastel tones and pink to just try out as many colors as possible. And then here I am adding some highlights at the end with my gel pen, which I forgot it's actually hard to get gel pen on top. And so I think I'm actually going to maybe go in with like some paint on top, some white gouache, and try to do some more detail work. If I do, I'll show you guys in another video, like the updated version. But there's the swatch chart again, all of the colors, and I actually used quite a few of these colors in this demonstration drawing, which I was proud of myself for doing because I often just use a few colors in a smaller palette, but I really expanded that for this painting slash drawing. If I am planning on working on this a bit more, I'm going to have to leave it out on a folder on my desk or something, because if I put it in the portfolio, I won't take it out again to work on it. So maybe this weekend I will maybe add some more contrast in that water, a couple of darker points, and some more highlights for sure. I think this could really benefit with some more highlights with some gouache or something. So again, I'll keep you guys updated on that, but I couldn't finish that part in time to release this video. So that's okay though. Oh, here I am going ahead and figuring out where to sign it. But I really liked how this turned out regardless. I thought it was fun and a little bit different from my usual artwork, and I usually try to avoid backgrounds because of how much of a mess and time consuming they can be, but sometimes it's really fun, and especially when working with something like watercolor, it can be really fun to include a background. And I know the background was a bit much, but I still liked how that turned out. Now keep in mind this was on cold pressed paper too, if you're wondering, because I know that makes a difference as well. But there's that, and I'm just going to put away the pencils now. I thought it would be satisfying to film this part. And you guys, I just wanted to sum this up and let you guys know that I really enjoyed using these pencils. I was so excited. The color palette definitely felt like enough for me because I'm able to mix together colors, so I didn't run into any issues there. The colors are all very vibrant and go on smoothly. They are beautiful. I know a lot of you guys might be curious how these compare to like Albrecht Dürer, for example, but I'll have to definitely use these a bit more before I could make a video comparing or even a formal review on these pencils. However, just an unboxing, like demonstration, first impressions type review video is often really fun and informative to watch, even if it's not perfect with all of the details. So I'm just showing you guys how I reacted to using these for the first time, and it was definitely a very positive reaction here. I think that these are also really nice complements to the luminance pencils because, as I mentioned before, the colors do not completely match up to the luminance set, so I thought that they might. I thought that we were just going to get exact colors from the luminance set, but that's not actually what we get. So I found that interesting and surprising in a good way. I was very happy. I mean, who isn't excited as an artist to see some different colors? Oh wow, you guys, I think I'm going to need to restock my watercolor papers soon, so if you have any recommendations for 100% cotton paper that you like to use, let me know, because so far I only have Arches and it is quite pricey, but I'm definitely taking recommendations. Also, I'd like to know in the comments down below if you guys have tried this set before, and if so, what you think of it, or if you've tried the Albrecht Dürers, which I also really like. If not, though, what watercolor pencils do you like to use? Because I don't really know very much about watercolor pencil aside from these two brands. I haven't explored it or looked into it very much. Again, thank you guys for watching today's video. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, or click the notification bell if you'd like to be notified for future videos, of course, which I post weekly to this channel. And thank you guys for coming along with me in this really fun unboxing. I will see you in the next video. Bye!